Hey everybody, this video is part of our full-length The Onside Kick podcast. You can find that on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes. You can pretty much find it anywhere, so we don't care where you listen. Just stick around and check it out.
But we're going to move on into our last coach that is now not fired. This one left on his own. I mean, this was one, we know Gary Kubiak has had health issues. We know that he's had to step away before because of them. This was just one, hey, you know what? I got to step away. I'm going to enjoy time with the family, and the family is really concerned with what this job is having on my personal health. So surprisingly on Black Monday, almost said Black Friday again, but Black Monday, Denver Broncos are looking for a job. Does Josh McDaniels come back as the head coach of the Broncos? That's what I start you with. That's
a big thing. And I do want to say, of course, that Gary Kubiak, he's got 4 rings already. I mean, how many more can he expect himself to wear? But anyways, for Josh McDaniels, come back? I don't think he can. The man who fired him is still there. Why would you come back to that? Is he a guy who could probably mentor a young quarterback? Hell yeah, he could. But once again, one of the big reasons he was let go was because of Tim Tebow. John Elway wants nothing to do with this. He does not want that to be anywhere near him. That's why a guy like Kyle Shanahan, who they have requested to interview, is a much better option, because the thing about Denver is they like keeping it.
Because you get his dad?
Yeah, well, I don't necessarily know that they want his dad to be a part of it, but they like keeping it in the Denver family tree here. That's why John Elway comes back. That's why they got a guy like Kubiak, who has been a part of multiple Super Bowl victories for the Denver Broncos organization. Kyle Shanahan, of course, brings the connection from his father, who used to be a coach for Denver Broncos. So you have all this connection here. I think Kyle Shanahan makes perfect sense for what they want to do, for these young quarterbacks that they have, that they want to kind of let them develop. And he's been pretty damn successful in Atlanta.
Well, and the thing that I kind of think about, and I actually had to look it up really quick, is one name that I looked at because I'm looking at a Fox Sports article, and they bring up Joe Camillus, who is the special teams coordinator with the Denver Broncos, because you were like, oh, keep it in the family. I'm like, okay, basically just move the guy up, like promote him from special teams to head coach. But then I thought to myself, who is there on the defensive side, Ricky? Wade Phillips, who has head coaching experience. However, there is a little bit out there that, I mean, I'm looking at ProFootballTalk.com. They have an article that says that, you know, Wade Phillips wants to stay with the Broncos, laments being unemployed, whereas Fox Sports, their headline reads, Wade Phillips hints he might not return to the Broncos. So this is a different situation of, if you're looking to keep it in the family, very Italian mafia style, basically, is Wade Phillips a guy you look at to bring back because of the work that he has done, A, with this defense, and B, he does have head coaching experiences with the Cowboys?
I don't know if Wade Phillips wants to be a head coach again. I mean,
it's a lot of work. A lot of responsibility falls on you, too.
It's a lot of work. He is nearly 70 years old. He'll be 70 before the next season starts. I don't know that he wants to go back into that. I think he is happy right now just as a defensive coordinator for a team that has a really good defense. I think he's set. I think he is satisfied. I don't think he wants to go anywhere necessarily. I don't think that the Denver Broncos are going to make him go anywhere. What they need to do is get somebody else to come in that can continue working with these things. What they need is, they have Trevor Siemian, they have Paxton Lynch. John Elway is happy with those 2 quarterbacks. John Elway thinks that the future is here with these 2 guys.
So basically,
they need someone to develop that.
So basically, anyone who comes into that interview and says, yep, I like those guys, they're going to be at the front. If anyone comes into that interview and says, you know, I think that the quarterback of this team is not on this team, they're not getting hired.
You need to come in and say, hey, you guys got the quarterback of the future, and this is how I'm going to work with him. That's what you need to do if you want the Denver job. And the Denver job is the most appealing job on the whole market.
So then, because and this is just me kind of working in my brain and kind of thinking out loud here.
Yeah.
Because you have a stout, I'm going to say stout defense because although I had this team at 4 wins, which I was wrong about, although I said this team would not make the playoffs, I was right. This team has a great defense. I'll say great defense. Because of that, do you go more offensive head coach to work more with the offense, or would you be saying, hey, we got the defense, I want a defensive mind to make this better, and he can deal with the offense?
Make it better for what? I mean, it's already one of the best defenses in the NFL. You got Wade Phillips there. Wade Phillips is taking care of that defense.
If he comes back, he says he's
that's what I'm saying. As long as Wade Phillips is going to still be there, you don't touch it. You get a head coach who you're pretty much letting them know you're not touching Wade Phillips. Let Wade Phillips do what he's going to do. You know, you can chime in every now and then, but he's doing his thing because he is successful. Really, I mean, the best interview you can do for this job is say, I'm going to work with your quarterbacks. This is how I'm going to do it. Wade's being very successful. I'm going to let him keep doing what he's doing. I don't want to rock the boat. To me, that's perfect.
There are, to me, 3 coaches that I think about in my head. 2 serious, one that's more confined to rumors. The 2 serious ones, the first one, Kyle Shanahan, like you mentioned. I mean, not just the bringing in the family thing, but also look at what he's done this year with the Atlanta Falcons. Besides the New Orleans Saints, who, guess what, spoiler alert, that's the second coach I was going to say in Sean Payton.
Yep.
Besides him, those are the 2 best offenses in the league this year. So you either bring in Kyle Shanahan, or if you say, hey, you know what, we can make a trade with the Saints if they want to get rid of Sean Payton, he's a guy that I at least know for sure can handle being a head coach and work with a quarterback. Those are the 2 guys I look at. Another one that's kind of tied to rumor is if John Elway believes for this year that we cannot win with Trevor Siemian, we cannot win with Paxton Lynch, but he goes, you know what? One of these 2, more so Lynch, could be the starter in the future. Maybe they go with a guy like Scott Linehan, and then everyone starts the rumors, and they trade for Tony Romo to match up Linehan, who's worked with Tony Romo to win now while Paxton Lynch continues to develop.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily know that just because John Elway likes what he has doesn't necessarily mean that he's against a Tony Romo.
And that's the thing. Like, you can the thing that I look at is Trevor Siemian. To me, the clock is kind of against just because he's a little bit older than
He's not that old.
Paxton. I said a little bit older. He's 25, so not a ton older, but to me, you'd get a few more years.
He's younger than you are.
He's younger than I am. You'd get a few more years out of a Paxton Lynch.
But you had Paxton Lynch for a long time already.
Plus, I think the potential, and this is me just speaking for me, I think the potential is greater with a Paxton Lynch than a Trevor Siemian. Like, I think that the Trevor Siemian we saw this year, the ceiling is not much higher. The ceiling's a little bit higher, but it's not much higher than what we've seen this year.
Well, he had some injury issues, too.
Paxton Lynch, I think the ceiling is a lot higher than anything you might have seen in practice, because it's basically, or that one game he played when Siemian was injured. Neither of these quarterbacks are winning a Super Bowl next year. That's why I wouldn't be surprised if Denver said, you know what, let's go with a guy like Linehan, match him up with Tony Romo.
Yeah, I think that...
Or Sean Payton and match him up with Tony Romo.
Yeah,
or Kyle Shanahan and match him up with Tony Romo.
I like Kyle Shanahan the best. I don't necessarily know that I like Kyle Shanahan because with Tony Romo. I don't necessarily know if I like that combination the best. I like Kyle Shanahan because I like what he can probably get out of a young quarterback. I think he will develop them fairly well.
But look at what he's been able to do with a veteran in Matt Ryan.
But I don't think Matt Ryan needs him to do anything, just like Tony Romo won't need him to do anything. So in that situation, it's kind of very much like Peyton Manning and Gary Kubiak. You let them do their thing, and you just kind of worry about the rest.
I don't know. I think this Falcon offense, maybe it's just this year they clicked, but this Falcon offense has looked different.
It looks great
this year. It looks amazing this year. And I put most of Julio Jones and Matt Ryan are great, but I put a lot of the credit on bringing in Kyle Shanahan. I think he's the leader for the job. Plus, the thing that you got to think about, and this is Mike Shanahan said this when he was on The Herd a few weeks ago, he doesn't want, like, he's not looking to get back into coaching. If anything, Mike Shanahan's the guy where bring me in to be the higher up. Bring me in as like the consultant to kind of manage the coaching part and not actually be the head coach.
Yeah, he might want a front office type of job. But I don't know, if you're just thinking about the Shanahans and you remember Washington, that type of thing might make you want to. But it might make you want to avoid the combo. It might make you want to avoid the combo and say, I will just take the kid. Let me just have Kyle.
Let me take the kid.
Dad's happy. Dad did quite a bit for us.
Bringing him in.
You do your thing over there. Stay on the couch. We're taking your son.
I think that Kyle Shanahan, to me, is the lead for this one, but I wouldn't be surprised if John Elway, if the rumors started to rev up that the Saints are really, really, really
if this time it's for real,
are trading him, then I wouldn't be surprised if John Elway tried to make a trade to get Sean Payton and get a coach that that's the thing with Denver. He needs a coach that he knows can be a John Fox, Gary Kubiak. The last two since Josh McDaniels have been head coaches here and have been successful here. I mean, Gary Kubiak he got to the playoffs, but
he had a good team for a while.
Didn't get to a Super Bowl like John Fox. That's a bash at the Houston Texans, by the way, not at Gary Kubiak. But let us know down below what you guys think with the Denver Broncos. Who's going to be their next head coach? Who fits this job the best?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. And don't worry, there is plenty more where that came from. You guys can check it out right over here. Click that video, start watching it, and just stick around on Most Valuable Podcasts.